Welcome everybody to Bobby's Red, White, and Blue Falcon podcast. Today's August 9th, 2018. I got a special guest, and he is from Dallas, Texas, Jon Hufnagel, can I say the starter of the Dash app?
That's a good start. Yeah.
Good start. All right, go and introduce yourself, Jon.
Yeah, for sure. Well, number one, thanks for having me. Good to reconnect with you over the years. It's been a little bit. You've gone on some pretty cool adventures, and I'm over here in Dallas, kind of doing my own thing. I would say that the starter of Dash has been up to quite a bit the past 2.5 years. Started a company, the purebred startup, from idea to revenue generating in 60 days. What we've done is built software for professional sports teams. We brought a product to market in April of 2016 and have gone from 0 teams to 62 teams who now work with us. So it's been quite the journey. Learned a lot about software, learned a lot about growing a business, learned more about life along the way too, and eager to get the business where it needs to be. Hopefully we can exit and go start another business.
Okay, so your plans to build it up?
Yeah, plans to build it up and bring value to a company who could use an asset of what we're creating here and go out and sell it.
Okay. So just for everyone who's not familiar with the Dash app, do you want to give a little bit of the concept of that for the listeners?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll back up even farther.
Okay.
A little bit more about myself. Graduated Oklahoma State University.
Go Pokes.
Go Pokes back in May of 2009. Then started my sports career in January of 2010 at FC Dallas, Major League Soccer. Started my sports career as a ticket salesperson, as most people do who get into sports. While I was there, I kind of had my aha moment. Mm-hmm. And my aha moment was that I had noted the struggles that our team's charitable foundation director had with the silent auction she was hosting during our game. So to paint the picture a little bit further for those people who are listening who aren't familiar with what goes on, basically our charitable foundation director would set up pen, paper, table, chairs auctions on our concourse and auctioning off team memorabilia and team experiences. For her, it was very labor intensive on the front end as well as during the game. She had to be at the auction the entire time, which is kind of a bummer because this was her best commercial with 20,000 people in the building and, professional soccer going on the field right in front of us. And then on the back end too, chasing people down who may have put a credit card number down wrong on a piece of paper just wasn't conducive and efficient for her time. And for fans who were at these games, they weren't really there for an auction. They were there for the game. So just kind of had a light bulb moment one day and said, let's just digitize this whole process. Make it very easy for Melissa to be able to take a picture of these items, share them through our team's marketing channels, and for fans to be able to bid on these items, whether they were in the building that night or maybe watching the game at home from their sofa. And so that's what we did. April 2016, brought a product to market that did that. What we learned pretty quick is that building an auction platform was pretty easy to do. Not that hard to digitize that process, to make Melissa's life more efficient, broaden her auction audience, and to make the fan experience much more convenient. What we started to learn, and we learned pretty quickly, is that professional sports teams have challenges and pain points that they'll always experience, such as putting butts in seats, providing value to their sponsors and partners, amplifying the game day experience, getting people to purchase more merchandise, as well as, finding new sales leads. And that's kind of how we've grown our business, not really talking about auctions, but actually teaching people how to use technology as the gateway drug to get into the palm of fans' hands, get them to do what you want to do, which is to A, have a great time, and B, spend some money while they're doing it. Mm-hmm. And then after you've captured that fan attention, it's really, what do you do with it after that? Do you take those leads that you've gotten from that auction platform and hand it off to your merchandise person? Do you hand it off to your ticket sales person? What is it that you do? And, there's a lot of people who think auctions are pretty basic. They're easy to understand. They're pretty familiar with most people out there, but how do you really extract the most value from them so that you can take that as a professional in sports and make it a viable piece of your business model. So that's, that in a nutshell is how we've been able to grow so fast, and pretty exciting times. I think we will change the way that fans put their hands on sports memorabilia for years and years to come.
Well, that's awesome, Jon. If somebody wants to participate in, the Dash app, the phone application, correct?
Yep. So there's a couple ways that fans can get on board with Dash. One is you could just text the word Dash to phone number 66866. And then what that does is send you back a web link that takes you back to our webpage, and you can download Dash on your mobile device. That's really the best way to do it.
Okay.
If fans want to go one step further, what they can do is call their professional sports team in town, let them know that they want the most authentic sports memorabilia and game day experiences, and they can pass along my contact information as well. That's probably my preferred, but each their own.
Yeah, well, that definitely be something that I'll do, because I know as far as being here in Nashville, I've been a Preds fan since about 2007. Is the first time I went to a hockey game, and that was my first professional hockey game. And back then, obviously, they weren't as renowned as they are now. But having gone to a hockey game for the first time, I didn't think I was going to like it. And once I saw the excitement that is in a hockey game, I was hooked from then on. And I'm not going to say they got better because I'm in Nashville now. There's a correlation there, but I could definitely see myself bidding actively on whatever the game memorabilia is on that app once it is there. And most of the stuff goes to charity, correct? That the auction.
It does, yeah. That's the cool thing. Is like we're connecting fans with the most authentic sports memorabilia out there, which is directly from their favorite teams. And the added bonus is that fans know that these auctions are being hosted to raise funds, that these funds go straight back into the communities that they live, which is, it really is a win-win-win situation for everybody out there.
Right.
So I've got a question for you. At that first hockey game, are there moments that you remember that you can recall right now on the podcast?
Oh, vividly. Yeah, vividly. I've never, I've never seen 6 guys just go on an all-out brawl with, the sticks in their hands.
Yeah.
The first fight that happened, I guess, was, for me, was that game as far as a brawl. And I'll never forget like the adrenaline rush that I got from watching these guys, just go at it. And that, the refs step back like, whoa, I mean, this got way too intense. And, I'm not sure if they had to do that because, the team wasn't up to par. I guess the more professional the team is, the better it is. They tried not to get in all those fights. But it was definitely an adrenaline rush, and that's why I was hooked instantly.
That's what's cool about sports, I think, is that there are moments that draw emotion out of you that you don't really get anywhere else, such as like the guy who hits the home run that wins the game, or
right.
the goalie who makes the big save to move the team on to the Western Conference Finals. And that may have been your first, it may have been your 10th sporting event for that particular team that you went to. But sports is one of those things that your fandom continues for decades, maybe even your entire life.
Right.
And what's great is that technology today has allowed us to be connected to our favorite team, regardless of if you still live in Nashville or you live on the other side of the world because you may have gotten deployed over in Japan, right?
Right.
You can still be a part of that. And so what's kind of cool about the auctions and what technology is providing for fans these days is you can always be connected to your favorite teams. And what's great about sports is sports kind of break through the clutter of what goes on in our day-to-day lives. Like I'm a huge Formula One fan, and I know that you're a huge Formula One. I'm obsessed. I am absolutely obsessed.
Who's your favorite?
And I know who's my favorite. I don't have a favorite, to be honest with you. What I think is cool about Formula One is that on any given day, someone can shine through. Like some guy who is always dead last can show up and finish. And that'd be a really big deal, right?
Oh, yeah.
But with sports and technology these days, like even my fandom, because of technology in Formula One, has increased because, now I can consume content on YouTube. I can consume content on the team, or not the team, but Formula One's mobile app. I can now go follow my favorite driver or drivers because now they have an Instagram, a Twitter, a Facebook.
Yep,
they have
exactly.
a YouTube channel, right? And I know more about them now than I ever have been able to.
It's
and
almost an
cool
investment.
It is. And what's cool is, like, now that I'm more connected with them than ever, there's opportunities to extract more revenue out of me, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And be able to monetize their brand in ways that didn't exist 10 or 15 years ago.
Right.
And what's cool is that the old model of building businesses has completely changed because of the cell phone. It's not even a cell phone these days. It's so much more than a cell phone. It's your connection to the world.
It is, for sure. I mean, I don't know how many times, watching the Preds games this past year, if there was a great save, like you mentioned earlier, like the, goalie makes a save, the next thing on Facebook is everyone's, did you see that? They're posting the picture or, the short clip video, and, everyone's watching together and reliving the moment together.
Yep.
And that's a really good point you made as far as the connection.
It builds a community. And, I think the way that sports used to be is, everybody went to the game, and when the game was over, they all went home and they were connected to their radio or their newspaper. Today, there's communities of Dallas Stars fans on Facebook, Instagram. Now they can connect and go to the bar for away games, or they can meet at the bar before the game and then go sit and watch the game together.
Right.
And being a part of that is hard to do unless you've got some savvy tech people who can, and it's not just tech people, but just savvy people who can be a part of that community of your fans and connect that brand of sports team with those fans throughout their day-to-day lives for, not just today, but 10, 15 years, and even their lifetime.
Well, speaking of different sports, what all sports does Dash App offer currently? I know you guys are growing every day.
Yeah, we have quite a few. So we found quite a bit of traction in hockey. Through all levels, from junior levels to minor league and pro levels. WNBA teams, lacrosse teams, major league soccer teams, semi-pro soccer teams, minor league baseball. We've had some college teams on Dash as well. I mean, we kind of hit the gamut. Things that we haven't is probably football is the only sport that we haven't had on Dash yet.
Okay, wow. Well, I'm sure you'll get there, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get there. I know that I went to a minor league game for the first time in, since I was a kid. I went to a minor league game a couple weeks ago, and it was another, experience that I enjoyed that I didn't really understand that I would enjoy. And there's really a growing community going to, these minor league games just because it is so much fun. It's like it's an outing where there's something going on, and everyone can get together and, just have a good time. And whether you're there or, just like with your app, if you're anywhere in the country or the world for that matter, you can also connect with your people that are there at the game. So that's always fun.
Yeah, for sure. I think sports, even if you're not a fan of sports, just to go and be a part of the experience is special. And, it's the job of the sports team to identify you coming in their doors, deliver a great experience in a way that makes you want to come back and tell all your friends, right?
Right.
So
and have good food.
And have good food. Corn dogs, hot dogs, dollar beer night, pretty popular.
Yeah. The big one here is Thursday nights. I think they have drink specials at the minor league games, but it's fun no matter what's going on. And they also had noticed they had cornhole and a couple pool tables. Right there we could actually watch the game and also play our own individualized bar game, so to say. So it's
kind of fun.
It's
kind of fun to watch. Like, we've got a local minor league team here in Frisco called the Frisco Rough Riders. They play minor league baseball. It's a beautiful stadium. I think they seat like 9,000 to 10,000 people, but they're in Frisco, which is like, family capital of the United States. But they've had really great marketing with the younger generations as well, like our age, who are millennials. And what they did was they partnered with a local brewery, Deep Ellum Brewery, to come out to every Thursday game, have a dollar beer night, but they called it this party in the yard. And great marketing. You see all their stuff on Facebook and Instagram with like young people having a good time, playing cornhole, you see the dollar beers, and it's just this consistent thing where you're not really going to the baseball game. You're just going to hang out with your friends.
Right.
As opposed to, what did people do 10 years ago? They just went to some bar and just hung out and drank beer there.
Right.
Now you can get your beer in this great atmosphere with a lot of other people your age just having a good time.
Yeah. It's I think it feels more productive than just sitting down. You're active.
I agree.
So my next question for you is, what advice would you give somebody who is wanting to start a business? Because ever since I've known you, Jon, you've always had nothing but big dreams. You've always been a go-getter kind of guy. So, that being said, somebody who fits your personality type would have a lot to learn from you as far as ideas and advice for starting their own business.
I would say, don't get fancy.
Don't get
start
fancy.
to get success. Don't get fancy.
You mean personally or with your business?
Both. I think more personally than anything, because the money that comes from the business, if you have big dreams and big goals, that money should just go right back into the business. And you should live a humble lifestyle where you're not going out and buying a new BMW or going on fancy vacations, right? Because that $30,000 or $40,000 could go into your business for new marketing partnerships, features and functionalities that bring your partners more value, hiring a new salesperson. So I think
non-qualified plans.
Non-qualified plans, exactly. No, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
But I think it's the ability to not get fancy, take a step back, stay humble, and always have that 40,000-foot view of where you're going and where you want to be. But on your day-to-day basis, you've got to stay patient. For people who have big dreams and like what we're doing here, you have to realize that nothing good is going to happen for the next 2 years. Right. From the day you get going to where you want to be, you have to be willing to, take the punches and realize that it's a journey, and you have to love the journey.
That's a good point.
You focus on that 40,000-foot view, but in your day-to-day actions, you're hustling as hard as you can, because you're going to get far more no's than you get yeses. But eventually, those no's make you better, so that you can start getting more yeses and growing your business.
And growing personally. I think you made a really good point there as far as, nothing's going to happen, for 2 years or even more. Some businesses don't really even take off until after 5 years. But I think in this day and age, it's almost, or maybe people have always been like this, it's just kind of more known now, but there's that instant gratification. You've heard that term. So I think I've been guilty of it myself, wanting that instant gratification on whatever I'm working on. And then slowly got to realize, hey, like reel it in, like this is a whole, part of the plan. Like you said, you got to hustle every day. You're going to get a lot of no's, but that'll develop into more yeses as long as you keep at it.
Right. And I think you've always got to position yourself and your business in a way that brings far more value to people than they ever expected that they were going to get out of you on that first or second touch point that you have with them. Right.
That's a really good point too.
It's amazing the amount of effort it takes to get someone just to give you $1. You know what I mean?
No.
It takes hours of work.
Well, it's funny to me.
We're not talking about
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking about I've got to go get groceries or I'm going to starve. But all these other things that are kind of the intangibles out there that are the nice to have, like a new mountain bike or a new car, or even to get a bracelet that's $10. For that person who's selling those products, they put in so much work to get that out of you.
Right.
And think about the marketing and competition that go into just the car industry alone. Why did I buy that Toyota over the Honda? Well, because 1,500 people in the marketing department worked their ass off to get my attention and appeal to me in a way that wanted me to buy a Honda, right?
They made you feel like that was your car, not just a car.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that takes a lot of work.
Yeah. I also know as far as, my career field, being in the financial industry, it's funny talking with friends and family and, even strangers, if I talk with them about what I do and, how I do bring quality, and something that's quantitative, I can validate everything that I do. It's still, sometimes a no answer, but at the same time, they'll go to a doctor and, take his word for it. So
Right.
it's one of those, I guess, being in business for yourself or being in the kind of businesses that we're in, we got to work extra hard for that. I guess we say, stack the pipeline, because that hard work every day will eventually pay off. And just like you said earlier, you got to bring more to the table than they even thought you would. And so it's what is it? Under promise and over deliver is kind of the motto I live by.
Yeah, exactly. I totally get it. Before I started Dash, I had a financial planning practice just like yourself with New York Life, and words like that instant gratification it's so true, especially people our age, right? It's so much, and we always use this analogy where short-term pain, long-term gain for folks, and it's like, would you rather sit on the couch and eat this donut, or do you want to go to the gym and work out? Well, what's the trade-off? Okay, well, I'm going to sit on the couch and eat donuts every other day, and I'm going to get heart disease or diabetes, right?
Right.
Or I'm going to go and I'm going to exercise, and I'm going to live a long, healthy life. And when I'm 50, I'm going to look like I'm 40, and I can still work out and hang out with my kids and play baseball with them and go mountain biking with them as if I were a 25-year-old.
Exactly.
Because I spent my days, focused on the right things and not on that instant gratification.
Well, as far as that goes, who are some influences in your life to have this? I guess we kind of have a different outlook than most people. I feel like trying to get away from the instant gratification. Who have been some influences to make you who you are today?
I think quite a few, to be honest with you. I've always kind of seeked out people who were super successful out there. Technology has given me the more opportunity to find those individuals, because a lot of those individuals aren't, the really successful ones aren't in it to make a lot of money. So that's the first thing that, just normal folks look at. Oh, he must be successful because he has a private jet.
Right.
But those people aren't in it for the money. You can find the ones out there who are doing it because within their heart, they want to give back to people who may feel down on their luck or feel like they can't get theirs. And so one person that, I call him like my E-Mentor is a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk, who he's an entrepreneur through and through. He was one of those guys who, moved to the United States at a very young age with his parents who lived in New York, who, they shared an apartment with like 8 other people.
Oh, wow.
Mom and dad worked every single day, not taking any vacations, showed Gary what hard work was all about and what it took to make something of yourself. 2 years, I think, after moving to the United States, his dad bought a liquor store. And when Gary graduated, he worked through that liquor store until he got to college. When he graduated college, he went to go work in the liquor store, grew it from a $3 million business to a $60 million business,
Wow.
all for his dad. And then he went out and started a digital marketing consultancy business, which is now like $300 million business with 900 employees all around the world. And he's gotten his, right? But his 40,000 foot view and goal in life is to impact people who are young like us, who want to become entrepreneurs, who want to be something bigger than themselves and just be good people. And what's great about Gary is that he puts out a ton of content every single day on YouTube and Instagram and Snapchat. He's very good at capturing people's attention.
How do you spell his last name?
Great question. Vaynerchuk. So if you were to Google Gary V, his stuff will pop up all over the place.
Okay.
So he's an E-Mentor of mine. And then, I'd say it's my family for sure. My dad was in sales at radio stations all across Dallas-Fort Worth. And he was super successful in what he did because he was a good person. He taught, he was always thinking of helping other people before helping himself. And just hearing stories at the dinner table of people who didn't have that mentality, missing out on opportunities because they had that mentality.
Right.
And then listening to my dad, hit the singles and the doubles and doing the right thing by people, how those singles and doubles added up for him to be able to manage big radio stations here in Dallas, Fort Worth.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I think family has been a key of mine as well. And for everybody listening, if people want to send in their stories about people who've influenced them, I'd love to hear them, because those are definitely stories that can be shared and maybe motivate somebody to do something for someone else, which is always great.
I'm a big believer that we're also very fortunate to live in the United States, because we have so much opportunity to do what it is that we want to do. And if people are ever feeling down about themselves, they have to realize that there are people who have come from far worse positions.
Oh, yeah.
Who have overcome those challenges to be something amazing, right?
Right.
And what's crazy too is that in our society, there's a whole lot of complainers out there who, I can't do this and I can't do that. But there's so many people out there who have been able to do this or do that, who, maybe they're paraplegic. Right. Maybe they stutter and people made fun of them as a kid. So it really knocked down their self-confidence. And somewhere along their journey of life, they found that confidence in something or someone that motivated them, that gave them that spark in their head that said, well, I can do that too.
Right.
It's not going to be easy, but I can do it too.
One of my favorite comedians, he has a stutter, and he used it in his act, and it is hilarious.
Sure.
One of my favorite jokes that he has is he's on stage and he's telling jokes and he's stuttering, and some guy comes up to him after the show and says, "Hey, did you know you're stuttering up there?" He's like, "Oh no, I was. How bad was it?" It's
awesome.
It's great, yeah.
It's awesome. Well, good for him for turning that negative into something that's become a positive, to the extent that we're talking about it on this podcast. Right?
Exactly.
Isn't that amazing?
That's something I'll definitely want to bring to the table for people one day. And I think you are out there with me.
Yeah, dude. Whatever we need to do to get him on the show, we should do.
You know what? I'll send him an email. Maybe he'll respond. That would be awesome.
I'll Twitter him.
Okay.
And Instagram.
And all right, fair enough. I'll send you a link to his stuff after this.
Please do.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I had, John. Really appreciate you coming on. I hope everyone kind of gained some knowledge from John, his experiences. And please go to the Dash app. Which you guys are on Facebook also, correct?
Yeah, we are. So pretty much all of our social handles are @auction, okay. Whether that's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook as well.
Cool. Well, John, thank you so much for coming on here, brother.
Thanks for having me, Bob.
Dallas? Yeah, of course. I'll try to come down to Dallas sometime, and if not, you can always fly up here in Nashville. You got a place to stay.
I appreciate it, man. We'll catch a Preds game here soon, I hope.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. All right, you have a good day, John.
All right, brother.
Talk with you soon.
You too, buddy. Good to talk to you.